BTS News. Behind the world stage, among the incessant camera highlight their every step, there is a story that grows quietly yet powerfully. In a world that often blurs the line between reality and image, two figures from the legendary group BTS Park Jimin and Jungkook became real symbols that sincere feelings can still survive, growing, even deeply rooted in the midst of tremendous pressure and unflagging spotlight of fame. Not many really know what's going on behind the scenes, behind the magnificent stage, and behind the smile that they show to millions of ARMY around the world. But for those who pay attention with the eyes of the heart, Jimin and Jungkook have long shown that their relationship is much deeper, rather than just group mates or comrades in arms. The two grew up together, going through difficult times, strengthen each other when the world seems to demand more than they can give. Since their debut, Jimin and Jungkook have attracted the attention of many people because of their closeness. Originally considered a brother-sister bond, their relationship slowly develops into something more complex, full of warmth, protection, and emotional connectedness so deep. Even in wordless moments, there are highlights and small gestures that speak so much more. From the warm embrace backstage to the way they address each other in a tone that only they understand, Jimin and Jungkook build a safe space that only belongs to the two of them. It is not easy to love in a world that constantly judges. It is not easy to show tenderness in the midst of demands to look perfect. But among the global career pressures, military trips, and overwhelming public expectations, Jimin and Jungkook grew stronger. They are a mirror for many who feel that true love should not always be announced, but it can be felt in a small loyalty and attention that continues to be consistent. Their stories are not stories written in a Hollywood narrative. No big statements, no dramatic confessions, but everything they showed, from the way Jungkook always waited for Jimin to finish training, from the way Jimin watches Jungkook's mood more than anyone, from the way they encourage each other through hidden messages on social media, implies an emotional relationship that is much more than just being together as BTS members. There are moments caught on camera, which is now considered a real proof of their bond. As Jimin looked at Jungkook in silence, with eyes full of meaning, or when Jungkook reflexively protects Jimin from the overwhelming crowd, all of this is proof that what they have is not just a professional relationship. It is love in its purest form. Love that does not ask for recognition. It doesn't need validation, but it grows in the middle of the storm and still blooms without being indulged. Their love is also time-tested. With a busy schedule, global travel, and then conscription, distance is a tough test. But it is precisely there that they show how strong the foundations of the relationship they have built over the years are. Jimin is mentioned several times as the figure who most often sent support to Jungkook during the military period, with a warm tone and a little attention that shows how much he understands the emotional needs of the best friend, someone who has more than that in their life. Jungkook did not remain silent. In one of his interviews before he entered his military service, he referred to Jimin as someone who "it makes everything feel lighter," and always knew what to say when I myself was speechless. The sentences may be simple, but coming from Jungkook, who is known for not easily expressing feelings, it was a much deeper declaration than just a compliment. Some call this fan service, some consider it only part of the closeness between members. But for those who pay sincere attention, the story of Jimin and Jungkook is a reflection of how love can come in a tender form, subtle yet powerful. The world may speculate, but only the two of them know the truth, and they choose to let it grow naturally. No pressure, no expectations. There is power in unrequited love. Jimin and Jungkook never asked the world to understand them. They just live day by day, constantly there for each other, and remain faithful even when no camera is recording. In the midst of a K-pop world full of rumors, scripts, and fabricated stories, they present something rare. Relationships are built on mutual trust and getting to know each other at the deepest point. Now, when both are serving a period of heavy state duty, the public still sees how they stay connected, although not in direct words. A message of support, a song selected in a military radio broadcast, or even the tone of voice in the interview that mentions each other be the emotional bridge that unites them beyond physical limits. The army was also a witness. Not a few of them were touched by Jimin and Jungkook's relationship. Many say that looking at them is a reminder that true love can be anywhere, even among the thousands of industry spotlights and pressures. Many also feel that their relationship gives hope, that mutual understanding, mutual protection, and mutual presence can persist, even in non-ideal situations. In the end, the story of Jimin and Jungkook is not a story that needs to be explained at length. This is a story felt by those who see, feel, and understand that love does not always have to be announced. Love can grow quietly, but firmly. And in a world that is quick to judge and easy to forget, this kind of love is a rare form of beauty. In a world that demands perfection and complicates intimacy, the story of two young men from Busan is a reassuring one. They are not perfect, nor do they want to be perfect, but they are sincere. And in that sincerity, they found each other, strengthened each other, love each other, in the most tender yet most real way. Jimin and Jungkook aren't just group mates. They are two souls who were brought together not by chance, but because of fate. They are an example that even in the midst of a storm, love can grow and bloom beautifully as long as there is honesty, loyalty, and the courage to stick together. And for the world to see them, that is more than enough to believe that true love does exist. It rained that day at the military headquarters where Jungkook was serving. The sky looks heavy. It's like carrying an unspeakable burden. In the midst of intense training and strict rules, there was one name that never really went out of his mind: Park Jimin. Jungkook sits on the edge of his bed, staring at a small piece of paper that is already a bit shabby because it is opened too often. The writing is simple, but Jungkook knows exactly who wrote it. Take care of yourself, Kook. Don't be so hard on yourself. I know you're strong, but you're also human. Don't forget that. That's Jimin's handwriting, delivered in a neatly folded envelope. Tuck it quietly among Jungkook's belongings before he departs. No autographs, no dramatic speech. Just a simple sentence so deep. Like Jimin. On the other hand, Jimin sat alone in his rehearsal room in Seoul. The studio lights have been turned off, but he doesn't want to go home. His head was down, his body tired, but it's not training that drains him. That's homesick, longing for someone who has become a part of him, without even knowing since when. Every corner of the room holds a memory of Jungkook, their laughter during training, Jungkook's carefree, singing voice, even small quarrels that end in long hugs. That night, Jimin played a song. His voice trembled, not because of the high notes, but because of the overwhelming emotions. The song was never released. It's a song he wrote secretly, about someone who made him want to be better, about someone who makes him believe that he deserves to be loved. If the world doesn't give us room to be honest, Jimin wrote in his notebook, "I hope my gaze can explain enough." Jungkook read the letter too. He knew that the two of them couldn't just talk. The world is cruel to people who dare to express feelings outside the established norms. But Jungkook doesn't need big words from Jimin. He just needs her presence. And even in that absence, Jimin remained. In his mind, in his determination, in the songs he whispers before going to sleep, before going to bed, Jungkook often plays a recording of Jimin's voice. Not a song, just a short voice message. Sometimes it's just, "You can do it," or "Don't forget to eat." But for Jungkook, that's more than enough. It was like a hug in the form of a voice, like an invisible but felt presence. Time goes on. The outside world is still speculating about their relationship. Some booed, some celebrated. But Jimin and Jungkook keep walking their own paths. Not to please the public, not to justify or deny anything. They know that what they have is greater than the world can understand. One day, in the middle of military training, Jungkook gets a special permit.